Josh Hinnick.
Let's go!
On 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
And he scored!
Now live from inside the Ocean Casino Resort Studio, here's Josh Hinnick.
You have to click at the right time for those things to happen. And I don't always have a rhyme or reason. I know we worked hard during that week off. I saw us. We faced live pitching. We did velocity machine. We did the curveball machine. We did all that stuff. But we just didn't play very well during this postseason.
That was Phillies baseball, president of baseball operations, Dave Dombrowski, speaking to the media earlier today. The man in charge of the Phillies organization, at least baseball-wise, he spoke. The man spoke for 44 minutes, and I got to be honest with you guys, I don't think anyone feels any more better about the Phillies after what he had to say today. We'll get into all that and some more Eagles talk here on Game Night on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios. You and me for the next hour. 609-403-0973 is the text board, and your DMs into the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. You know, when you look at the end of the Phillies season, I think we all had our own personal frustrations. And like any fan base, sports is as much about creating hope for the next year as it is winning during the year. And the Phillies did a great job during the year of creating an environment where all of us were excited about what was to come. You saw the team have an amazing first half of the year, and you saw them have these moments in the month of August, right? And yeah, the month of September was a little bit of a slog. July was not a good month overall, but you still had hope that, hey, you got home field advantage. You're going into the postseason. The bank is going to be loud, right? And then you walk away deflated. You saw an offense that did absolutely nothing. You saw a starting staff that tried their best, right? Wheeler, Suarez, Sanchez, Nola. Frankly, those guys did their best. And there was a lot of speculation coming out of the end of the season of what are the Phillies going to do? And I had said this previously, and I'll say it again here on 97.3 ESPN FM and on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. I have said multiple times that when you look at this team, when you look around and you realize that my two eyes say that this team is currently constructed is not good enough. And you can't go in the next season to just run it back for another year. Well, Dave Dombrowski didn't give you any hope that they are going to make any significant changes this offseason. The most he would say is they would be open-minded about it.
Yes, I do think it's a good roster. I think it's a good club. I think it's a club that's capable of winning a world championship. We've been close. We won 95 games. However, you're also open-minded to making adjustments. I think that that's a necessity. You want to get better. You're never happy unless you win the whole thing, and we didn't win the whole thing. So I think we have a real good core of players. But again, I think we'll be open-minded to see if we can make our ball club better.
Open-minded does not bring fans to the ballpark. Open-minded doesn't instill hope and confidence and faith in your fan base. If you are going to be the organization that does not fall into the trap that the 76ers have done with the Philadelphia sports fan, you gotta bring more to the table than being open-minded. It doesn't matter that Dave Dombrowski thinks that this team is good enough if the fans don't have faith. You know, one of the criticisms about Nick Sirianni has been about how the fact is that, you know, you can't go after your customers. You know, you can't go after your fans. You can't be adversarial with the people who basically pay for your salary, okay? Well, Dave Dombrowski is kind of doing it in a very indirect way with the Philly fans because Dave Dombrowski is basically telling us that, yeah, the team's good enough. They just weren't good enough when it mattered the most.
You have to.
He says that they worked hard all week and that they just didn't show up in the playoffs. And I feel like it's really easy to say when you're the guy who wants to go big picture, but you're not giving the Philly fans a reason why they should be invested next year. I thought Daryl Morey did a much better job at his end of season press conference than Dave Dombrowski did today in this one sense. Daryl Morey was much more open to admitting the mistakes that he made and to say that we got to do better, we got to be better. And I felt like Dave Dombrowski was very uninterested in pointing out anything except to say that when the question came up again and again about the Phillies' offensive struggles, he decided to use all of baseball is down scoring.
The unfortunate part, you have a tendency to focus only on your own club, right? This is a downtime from an offensive perspective in professional baseball. What was the average? 243 at the end of the year? Most of our hitters were better than 243. You see the scores in the games in most of the postseason. There's not a lot of run production taking place.
And when he said that, I kind of had to step back for a moment because I thought, wait, so your reason for why your team is good enough is because the rest of baseball isn't scoring either? There was never a moment in this press conference where anything that Dave Dombrowski said that got me excited about the future of this team. And I think that is what is most frustrating. And for him to get up there and say, well, hitting and scoring is down all across the league. And I kept thinking, well, didn't the Dodgers and Padres have a 6-5 game when you lost 7-2? And I had to go back and do a little looking and see, well, the Guardians and Tigers with a 5-4 game in their game 4. Well, what about Friday? We heard that game right here on 97.3 ESPN. Sure, that was specifically a 2-0 game. But the next day, Tigers, Cleveland game 5, 7-3. We can sit here and go through all the scores. Baseball is not by its nature a game. It's not like hockey, okay, where you get a team that goes nuts and they might win 6-3, okay? I understand that baseball traditionally is not a game where you score tons of runs. But for the man who runs the team, who helps build the roster, who helps direct the organization to get up there and basically say, well, we just didn't play good enough, was not enough of an answer for me. And he even acknowledged that Trey Turner's comments about the Phillies getting themselves out is correct.
Trey Turner said in his situation, I feel at times we get ourselves out. All right. It's a very enlightening comment because that is true at times. And other clubs know that. So we need to keep working with these guys where we can make the proper adjustments so they don't keep doing those type of things and don't keep, we have a group that chases quite a bit.
Now, this is also an organization that was very different than the rest of baseball because organizations like the Orioles and the Braves and others have fired members of their coaching staffs. The Phillies didn't just give Rob Thompson an extension, but they decided to retain his whole staff. And I thought Dave Dombrowski's answer was interesting because on one hand, he spends a chunk of the 44 minutes defending every single player on the team. He defends Trey Turner's defense. He defends Alec Boehm at the plate. Excuse me. He defends the players and their high rates of chase and strikeouts. But then he wants to turn around and say this about why they kept the Phillies coaching staff.
We have a good manager. They work well with the manager. They report directly to him. He would have liked all his coaches back. So to me, it was pretty simple in that regard. It's hard for me to, anytime you're right, you do have a disappointing finish, which we did, but it's also hard to put that on their backs in that case. So I think we all share collectively in what happened, but it's one of those where putting it on any of their individual backs, I don't think was the right thing to do.
So if we're not putting on Kevin Long for the hitting issues, and if the roster as currently constructed is a championship caliber roster that can win a World Series, and if we're not going to blame the players and just say, hey, we had a bad postseason, then you're giving the fans nothing to wrap their head around. And I think that is the huge problem in all this. And I'll get to your guys' text in just a moment. Dan at EHT, Steven Ventnor at 609-403-0973, and your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. But I had to give you some of that audio because there was never a moment when Dave Dombrowski spoke today that I walked away with any hope for next year. It was a lot of, well, we're going to be open-minded. Well, we might tweak some things. Well, we have a good roster. Well, we just weren't hot at the right time. Well, things didn't just work out for us. Well, Austin Hayes was injured. There was a lot of that, but there was not a lot of answers, whereas the president of Sixers basketball operations, Daryl Morey, got up at his end-of-season presser and said, my bad, I could have done better. We're going to do better this offseason. And what did he do? He gave you enough of a hope to think, all right, well, the man is saying that the team's going to be better next year. Dave Dombrowski didn't give you that hope. And if you're a Phillies fan, I don't know how to convince you guys. I try to be a voice of reason at times. I try to give you, an unadulterated perspective on the game, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey. I try to be as objective as humanly possible. But from where I'm sitting right here in the Ocean Casino Resort Studios here on 97.3 ESPN, I don't have any objectivity with this Phillies team. I don't have anything I can grab onto to say, this is the reason why next year will be better. Text board coming in at 609-403-0973. Your DMs into the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how Danny HT chimes in. The Phillies are close. Obviously, a couple tweaks is all they need. Maybe Aiden Miller or Andrew Painter can put them over the top. Well, the problem with the Miller and the Painter point is Dombrowski shot those ideas down. Because Dombrowski said himself at the presser, and he kind of hemmed and hawed around it, and there's a reason why he did. I'll get to why in a second. But he basically came out and said that don't expect to see Aiden Miller, Justin Crawford, or Andrew Painter be major parts of the team next year. He said to the media that Miller and Crawford, they're not there yet, and that the team is currently constructed is what it is, and that they're pretty much set at every position except center field at this point. So he's telling you right there that if you are the person who's looking at a youth movement to come up and maybe make a difference for this team, that don't get your hopes up. Now, the Painter thing, he did leave the door a little bit, half open, because he said that, with Painter pitching in the fall league, that, they're going to go into spring training and see where he's at. That, he said that, he doesn't expect them to have him pitch, over 180 innings next year. He gave a lot of setting the bar low for Painter. So Painter, I don't know if he can put them over the top, but he certainly is going to give you the opportunity, maybe have some more stability in the rotation next year. But they're still committed to Taijuan Walker. And Rob Thompson mentioned it. Dave Dombrowski mentioned it. They both like Taijuan Walker. So that's part of the problem, Danny HT. You're talking about they made little tweaks. Maybe the young guys can put them over the top, but the Phillies are saying we are not looking for the young guys to put us over the top, which is a different message than what the message they gave us before this season. Because before this season, Dombrowski said, in order for us to go where we wanted to go, we need the guys who are not the stars to step up as well. And at least for the first half of the season, they did. Alec Boehm had an amazing first half of the year. Now, of course, ever since he got hit on the hand, he was never the same player. So the Phillies seem to believe it, and I think they are correct in this assessment that if Boehm doesn't get hit in the hand, maybe the season plays out differently for him. Trey Turner, I think Turner, Harper, Schwarber, and Castellanos, I'm not fully sure why they keep falling back on. They just had a bad postseason, but then they want to say, don't blame the coaches, blame the players, basically, without saying it. It's a very strange back and forth they're having. It's like that they don't want to say that there's something wrong. They just want you to keep trusting them. And I am not a believer in blind trust, whether it's sports, whether it's any aspect of life, don't tell me to follow the crowd if I can't see where the crowd is going. Don't tell me to just trust you if you don't have a direction. Now, if Dombrowski just came out and had for some of these answers, hey, we got to be better and we're going to find a way to get better. And if he would have verbalized that better, then yes, me sitting here would feel better about it. I don't care that you had 95 wins this year because you are now the 76ers. You're the team that plays well in the regular season but fails in the postseason. The solution, Dan and EHT, isn't to blow it up. The solution is for the head of the organization, whatever organization it is, Phillies, Sixers, Phillies, Flyers, whoever it is, it's your job to come out and say, this is what we thought of this year. This is where we want to get better. This is how we're going to, we are going to proceed forward to improve this roster. I wasn't expecting Dave Dombrowski to get up there and rip into the player necessarily because it's not his personality. But I was expecting him to be a little bit more forthright and say, look, we had some problems that were exposed during the Mets series. We ran into a team that was a bad matchup for us, and we are going to go out of our way to make sure that that doesn't happen again. I see Steve from Ventnor. I'll get to your text on the other side, 609-403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. If you guys walked away from Dave Dombrowski and have faith in this team, let me know. If you think that what I'm saying is wrong, give me a reason why. Because right now, as I peruse through the text board, the people who don't agree with me are not giving me a tangible answer for why. And at least Dan EHT puts his name on it, okay? And I think Dan EHT, he's trying to look at it at a glass half full. And maybe I am looking at it from a glass half empty. But again, it's the job of the organization to create an environment where the fans are excited for next year. And as of October 15th, 2024, the Phillies organization has given you basically almost nothing to get you excited for next year except for, hey, we're a good team. We might run it back. Doesn't answer anyone's questions. All right, more of your messages coming up on the side. Josh Henning hanging out with you here on 97.3 ESPN FM and a 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up next, I'll get to more of your texts. And the only positive answer we got today was about the future of the Phillies was from Rob Thompson. Plus, Vic Fangio was asked about what Nick Sirianni said yesterday, and his answer made me laugh. It was honestly the highlight of my day. That's still coming up as well here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Henning hanging out with you on a Tuesday night.
The playoffs continue on ESPN Radio.
Thomas at the wall. It's out of here. Juan Soto.
The New York Yankees win Game 1 at home. Can they make it 2 straight? Or will the Guardians bounce back? Game 2 of the Yankees and Guardians. Coverage begins today at 7 Eastern, with first pitch at 7:30 Eastern.
Playoff baseball on 97.3 ESPN.
Brought to you by Shore Physicians Group. Be well connected. Visit shorephysiciansgroup.com. Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Book and Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screams. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatics Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check you have a full tank of gas first before road tripping through the desert.
Empty? Seriously? Maybe I can walk.
Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds.
Maybe I can't.
You're in good hands with Allstate.
Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Imagine your team always looking and feeling their best in high-performance technical workwear. Cintas can make it happen. They have garments for almost every job imaginable. And with the Cintas Workwear program, you get freshly laundered garments delivered every week for everyone on your team. Great garments without the bother of laundry. That's a real perk for employees. Find out how Cintas can boost team image and morale. Visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready.
And get ready for the workday.
With GMF financing, the qualified buyers excludes Traverse and Corvette, excludes prior sales.
Need a car, truck, or SUV? Great! Get to Bennett Chevy, where you're going to get Bennett's best offers ever. You know Bennett sells new Chevys at the true GM supplier employee price, right? Well, right now, Bennett Chevrolet says, how'd you like to buy your new Chevy and pay $500 below the GM supplier employee price? Yes, $500 less than our employees. Plus, you keep all the rebates. That's up to 15% off the sticker. And with available 0% financing, you'll have incredibly low payments. And if you've got an old car to trade, right now you'll get a minimum $10,000 towards any pre-owned vehicle in stock. That's at least $10,000 for total junk. Imagine how much we'll pay for good trades. And wait till you experience Bennett's non-commissioned sales team. Paid on your satisfaction, not how much you spend. So they'll make getting all these unbelievable deals even better. Together, let's drive. Bennett Chevy, Egg Harbor Township, and BennettChevy.com.
I'm still going for it, even with higher stroke risk from atrial fibrillation, an irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Over a 3-year study, Eliquis apixaban tablets reduced stroke risk better than warfarin, and over 97% of Eliquis patients did not experience a stroke. A first stroke occurred in 2.9% of warfarin patients versus 2.3% of Eliquis patients.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without asking your doctor. It may increase your stroke risk. Eliquis can cause serious and in rare cases fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding, unusual bruising, or tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. Medications such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners may increase bleeding risk. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This is the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network. Progressive Insurance presents the Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN. NHL, the Flyers in Edmonton tonight as they take on the Oilers. 97.3 ESPN has that game for you at 10 o'clock. This continues a 4-game road trip for Philadelphia. They lost Saturday to Calgary 6-3 after beginning the season last week with a shootout win against Vancouver. This trip will wrap up Thursday in Seattle to take on the Kraken. NBA, the Sixers defeated the Atlanta Hawks 104-89 in preseason play Monday night. Tyrese Maxey and Kelly Oubre each scored 14 points. However, Paul George did suffer a hyperextended knee. Sixers will continue their preseason schedule Wednesday night against Brooklyn. Regular season opener will be next Wednesday against Milwaukee. NFL, the Eagles head to MetLife Stadium Sunday to take on the Giants. Philadelphia 3-2, coming off a home win against Cleveland. The Giants sitting at 2-4 after a loss Sunday night to the Cincinnati Bengals. Catch all the action starting at noon Sunday on 97.3 ESPN. I'm Tony Desiri, and that's your Sports Flash on 97.3 ESPN.
Xfinity here. How can we help?
Hi. My daughter invited her entire class to her birthday party. Can my Wi-Fi handle it?
Oh, well, at Xfinity, our latest gateways have tri-band Wi-Fi technology, letting you connect hundreds of devices at once.
No way. So if all the kids are watching stuff on their phones, well, their parents are sharing videos online.
Yep, go ahead and watch videos. They can all do their thing and party their way. No problem.
Oh, we are going to need a bigger cake.
Now through November 12th, get fast, reliable 300 megabit Xfinity internet for just $30 a month for 12 months with no annual contract and unlimited data included. Visit Xfinity.com, call 1-800-XFINITY, or visit a store today. Xfinity, bring on the good stuff. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless plan and auto-pay with stored bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular rates apply. Currently $90 a month. Actual speeds vary.
From the Town Square, New Jersey Info and Weather Network, I'm Chief Meteorologist Dan Zarrow. Tomorrow will probably be the coolest day of the week, but that does mean a big warm-up will carry us into next weekend. Mainly clear skies and chilly temperatures tonight. Could be some patchy frost inland areas. Low temperature around 40. Breezy and cool tomorrow, high 58. It'll be partly sunny and dry. Becoming mostly sunny on Thursday, high 61, 68 Friday. Get weather 24/7 wherever you are. Download our free mobile app today.
97.3 ESPN has teamed up with Seize the Deal for incredible weekly offers from some fantastic local restaurants. Here's this week's big deal.
Get a $50 gift card, good for use at the Ravioli House in Wildwood for just $25.
Get this great deal starting Friday at 9 a.m. at seizethedeal.com. Hurry, chances are this deal will sell quickly. For more info on this great deal, go to seizethedeal.com.
SeizeTheDeal.com. This is Game Night with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
The lineup construction, we're going to go through that and try and figure out a better way to have score runs on a consistent basis. Is it best to have Kyle and Lee? We've won a lot of games with them in the last spot, so we got to really think about this.
Josh Nick here on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, Game Night is being brought to you by Doyle's Courthouse in Tuckerton. We will be this Sunday for our Eagles-Giants watch party. Come out and join me and the 97.3 ESPN teams. We will be giving away great prizes, including a Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey, plus tickets to great events around South Jersey, as well as other prizes. So come out and join us. Watch the Eagles take on the Giants this Sunday at Doyle's Courthouse in Tuckerton for our 97.3 ESPN Eagles watch party. We were there last month. It was a great time watching the Eagles beat the Saints. And now you can come out and watch the Eagles take on the Giants. Saquon Barkley's revenge game with me and 97.3 ESPN at Doyle's Courthouse. Your chance to win a Saquon Barkley Eagles jersey and more great prizes this Sunday with me at Doyle's Courthouse and 97.3 ESPN. Rob Thompson gave me the only glimmer of hope. And I will get to Steve Preventner's next. But he mentioned about changing the Phillies lineup. What I found was interesting about Steve talking about changing the lineup is because That has been a topic the Phillies organization has been very obstinate about. And they've been obstinate for a very good reason. They've been obstinate because of the fact they have had, over the last a level of success with Kyle Schwarber as their leader. They have had a level of success that cannot be denied. And I don't think it's as simple as us acting like it's no small thing that the Phillies organization has won almost 60% of their games with Schwarber as the leadoff hitter. It is no small thing for this organization to look around and say, hey, why should we make changes? If, and I say if, there is no tangible reason for us to. Rob Thompson gave us the only hope for next year. He said the organization says we're going to run it back with small tweaks. So what we're going to do is we are going to look at a guy like Kyle Schwarber and say, is he better served somewhere else in the line? The problem is, what is the lineup? Because if you put Trey Turner in the number one spot, who's hitting number two? Are you able to convince Bryce Harper to be the number two hitter? And if he says, nope, I'm comfortable at number three, then who do you put there? Bryson Stott, Alec Bohm, GT Romuto? There's arguments to be made for and against all those guys. Because if you put Stott there, now you're putting back-to-back left-handers at 2 and 3, and you don't want Schwarber then at 4 because then you have 3 straight left-handers. If you put Bohm there or GT Romuto there are concerns with both of those guys, and now you're losing those bats further in the lineup. And again, how much further down are you putting Schwarber in the lineup? Now, if you turn to Schwarber and say, look, you're number 2, again, you go back to the 2 lefties back to back. And then who is number 4? Bohm, Castellanos. You put those guys 4 and 5 and just keep changing them until it works out. And then what do you do with Stott and his role in the line? Remember, he went to a deep playoff run with Stott as your number 5 hitter. He looked like a traditional number 5 hitter. That's now, if you're an organization that says, look, our lineup is going to be Turner, Bohm, Harper, Schwarber, Castellanos, I think an argument can be made for that lineup. Then you have to answer the question, are you going to get the same level of production out of that one spot with Turner there that you got with Schwarber? Because every time the lineup turned over, you had the threat of that bat there. Now, our team is going to treat Turner with the same level of respect they did for Schwarber, who had arguably one of the best seasons of his career this year. He's cut down the strikeouts, he increased the walk, he increased his batting average exponentially, and he had his second straight 100 RBI season. So it's an interesting idea they brought up. I'm not sure if it's the best idea, but it's something to consider. Maybe that is the answer. I'll get the time for the Phillies to dance with by promise to see from there at 609-403-0973. Steve chimes in and says the only way to save the Phillies is to trade for Trout and Emmanuel Clase. All they need is a big bat and an outfielder and a closer. Well, the problem is that Cleveland is not trading Clase under any circumstance. You would have to give them the equivalent of the Garrett Crochet haul in order to get I said Garrett Crochet Hall because remember, the White Sox wanted a ton for Garrett Crochet, and teams are like, you know what? We'll pass on that. Clase is an elite closer on a team that just went to the ALCS. They're not trading. The Trout thing is something that I'll believe it when I see it. Not because I don't like the idea of Mike Trout with Phillies, but I don't think the idea of Trout coming to the team is fixing this team. When you hear Dave Dombrowski make this comment about the roster, okay, people up. Because he made an interesting comment about the team. He was asked about adding more players, right? He was asked about, for example, there's a lot of speculation out there about guys like Juan Soto. There's speculation out there about Nolan Arenado in trade. There's a lot of names being danced about, right? Dombrowski said this about the idea of adding a star player.
I think you have to be careful because sometimes it's not only the star players, it's also something that's supporting cast. And when you look at it, you had 8 all-stars, right? And now they're not all veteran guys, but it's more than anybody in baseball. We have, when you look at our starting rotation, I don't know that the top 4, there's a better starting rotation in baseball. When you look at some of the position players, they're really good. So I don't necessarily think that the answer is always a star player. I'm not saying we won't get one, but I don't think it's a necessity by any means.
And so if you acquire a star player, what you're doing is you're replacing somebody else on the team. And Dombrowski went his whole explanation in the press conference about payroll and about the consideration of roster balance. So you're bringing on Trout, you're taking on a crazy amount of money. Is taking on that money worth a player who has not been healthy in what? 4 years? I mean, I have to look it up again when the last time Trout won that 40 home run season was. Let me see here. When was that 40 home run season? That was last year. He played enough games for you to rationalize him being healthy. So that was 2022. He played 119 games. He had 40 homers. So if I'm looking at if you go back to 2021 to now, he has had 1 year where he has played over 100 games in the last 4 years. Injuries keep adding up for this guy. He has not played at least 130 games since 2019. That's getting to be a while ago. Unless you can guarantee me that Mike Trout, who, whether we like it or not, is an aging player. I get it. He's a local guy. People in this area would love to see him here. He's a diehard Eagles fan, blah, blah, blah. But you have to consider the fact that he is now 33 years old. He has sustained injury after injury after injury. Are you really willing to take on a guy with that injury history? To me, I think it's a difficult conversation to have if you're the Phillies. Now, when it comes to any player they can acquire, the problem with any player that you name that they would acquire is, are you giving that team, because again, it takes 2 to tango. In sports, are you willing to give up what a team is going to want in return for that player? And I think that's always a problem when it comes to when we talk about the Phillies should add this, the Phillies should add that. Well, we can want all the players that we could trade for in a video game, but the reality is we're not in video game land. This is the real world. And an organization may not think your top prospects are the guys that they want. Look, we have been told for years that Mick Abel is one of the top pitching prospects in this organization. Well, the guy has struggled in the minor leagues at times. Is another team going to view him the way you view him? Griff McGarry is one of your top pitching prospects. does another organization value him the way you value him? And you can go down the whole list. Dan from EHT chimes in and says, Josh, what do you want to hear? It's baseball, not NASA. How many hard hit balls were right at someone versus the Mets? You need some luck, Josh. The baseball gods were not on the Phillies side. Well, the problem with that rationalization is what you're basically saying, Dan and EHT, is that the Phillies were unlucky and that when they're lucky, they're successful. And I don't believe in that philosophy. The Stoic Seneca, all right? He said, luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity, okay? And then for some of you out there, that's a poster on the wall, that's a t-shirt, but it's something that I think is legitimate. I don't believe in luck. I have always believed in hard work and preparation. You know, you can always tell the people who don't put in the work versus the people who put in the work in life. And I think the Seneca philosophy is true. I don't think luck is the reason why the Phillies struggled against the Mets. They struggled, in my opinion, because they were swinging missing at a lot of pitches. They were making a lot of bad decisions at the plate. Dave Dombrowski confirmed what Trey Turner said, that, hey, we are a team that is chasing pitches. We're having bad approaches. And Dombrowski said, look, teams know that you're chasing pitches. Tom from the Villas chimes in on the text board at 609-403-0973. Tom from the Villas chimes in and says this observation is for everyone but the Flyers. Over the last 3 years, they keep telling us we are a better team than we were last year. Then the playoffs roll around and they get eliminated earlier than they did the year before. They keep giving us names instead of setting us up to handle the entire season. That's from Tom in the Villas. Tom, that's probably the highest tier observation I have heard today. Because you're right. These teams keep telling the fan bases, the Phillies, the Sixers, the Eagles, we're a better team. And then in the most important part of the year, they don't get the job done. And it's easy for all of us to point to any stat that suits our argument. But if you take away the stats and you just go with the eye test, you just go with I'm going to let me watching the game determine how I view the situation. There's never a point in time when you watch these teams and you think that they are what you were promised. And I think Tom from the Villas brings up a great point. Some point along the way, the Phillies, the Sixers, Eagles are not there yet, but if they have another failure in the playoffs, they'll just fire the head coach and they'll hit the reset button. But for teams like the Sixers and the Phillies who keep telling us we have our core, we have our guys, we have the centerpiece of this team, we have a good roster, we're better than we were last year. At some point, you got to win the postseason. There's a reason why we treat Charles Barkley differently than the other guys on the TNT set. We act like Kenny Smith is better than Charles Barkley because he won a ring. It's not true. But there's a perception that overshadows reality. We treat people and teams who have postseason success with a greater level of value, with a greater level of significance, with a greater level of they are the best only because of their postseason success. Nobody in their right mind thinks that any of the Washington quarterbacks who won Super Bowls are better than Dan Marino, but they are all revered. Joe Theismann, Doug Williams, Mark Rippon, Phil Simms is a borderline god for many Giants fans. For Eagle fans, Nick Foles is a legend, right? These men are treated like they are the greatest of all time. And Dan Marino is looked at with the side eye because he doesn't have a championship. It's not that Phil Simms or Doug Williams or Joe Theismann or Mark Rippon or Nick Foles are better than Dan Marino, but they happen to be on better teams and in better situations that help them win a championship. So Tom Villas is right. The problem is that these players, these organizations keep telling us we're going to be better. We'll be better. It'll be different next time. But then when it isn't better and when it isn't different next time, we will always treat you differently. Flyer fans can speak to this better than any fan base. If you are over the age of 50, there is no team, no player better than the Flyers that won the Stanley Cup in the 70s. It doesn't matter how great Brian Propp was, how great Lindros was for a short time, how consistent John LeClair was, how gaudy Claude Giroux's stats are, how great of a player Ron Hextall was for the Flyers. All of those guys are nobodies because they never won a championship. And for the Flyer fan with the 70 team, for Sixer fans with the 83 team, for Philly fans for the 2008 Phillies, for Eagle fans for the 2017 Eagles, all of those players are always going to have another level of respect and admiration because they won the playoffs and the other guys didn't. And it doesn't matter if Harper's a future Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter if Jalen Hurts goes on to have the greatest career of any Eagle quarterback. It doesn't matter. Fill in the blank player. Look at Allen Iverson. These guys are looked at with the side eye by some people because of their postseason lack of success. More your text coming up on the other side, 69403-0973. Your DMs into 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See how more your messages coming up next. And Vic Fangio was asked about Nick Sirianni, and I loved his answer. That's next.
It's Philadelphia Flyers hockey tonight on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedor bring you all the exciting play-by-play action.
Shoots, he scores! Matvey Michkov puts the finishing touches on it.
It's Flyers Oilers tonight. Coverage begins after playoff baseball on South Jersey's radio home for Philadelphia Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Hey, it's Mike Gill. My friend Rocco over at Key Acura of Atlantic City is excited to welcome Steve Bongiovanni to his sales team. Steve has been selling cars in the area for many years and would like to invite all his previous clients and new ones to stop in and see him. And now, through October 31st, he can get you into a new 2025 Acura Integra for just $379 a month with $49.95 down. Visit him at Key Acura of Atlantic City, Tilton Road, and EHT. Online, KeyAcuraofAtlanticCity.com. See dealer for details.
With fall savings at the Home Depot, you can get up to $1,600 off select appliances from top brands like GE Profile. Save space and time with the new combo washer and dryer and do-it-all-in-one machine. And with Smart Dispense technology, the right amount of detergent is automatically added to every wash. Laundry day is a whole lot smarter with the GE Profile Ultra-Fast Combo with Smart Dispense only at the Home Depot. Right now, save up to $1,600 and financing on select appliances with fall savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Pricing about September 26th through October 16th. U.S. only. See store online for details.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? So you've got an oil change coming up. You can go farther and save on full synthetic with our oil change special. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Valvoline Advanced Full Synthetic with an STP Extended Life oil filter for just $35.99. Get the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Jersey Cow, a great place for the family to hang out and eat ice cream. At Jersey Cow, everything is homemade, small batch, right here in South Jersey with only the best ingredients. Enjoy Jersey Cow in Northfield and Brigantine with all the fall flavors, bringing back popular classics while introducing some future favorites as well. For the best ice cream with constantly rotating flavors, come taste the best homemade delicious ice cream made right at Jersey Cow. Visit every day from noon till 10 at both Northfield and Brigantine locations. Ice cream, a year-round thing at Jersey Cow.
Good morning, Doctor.
Doctor?
Hi, Doctor. Doctor?
Dr. Jackson's practice is growing.
What do you mean we're still short-staffed?
He needs a good patient doctor.
How do we not have enough doctors to doctor all these patients?
And he doesn't have the patience to sift through hundreds of resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. When you sponsor a job on Indeed, it's easier for talented candidates to find it, which makes it easier for you to hire them. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Kids, work, running errands, sitting in traffic. Life is busy. Shore Physicians Group wants you to take time for your health. Shore Physicians Group offers the highest level of quality, compassionate care close to home with convenient locations in Margate, Marmora, Mays Landing, Northfield, Ocean City, and Summers Point. Life is busy. Take time for your health. Visit shorephysiciansgroup.com and make your appointment today.
Shore Physicians Group. Be well connected.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/free to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Peter Stahl, board-certified urologist and senior vice president of men's sexual health at HIMSS. In my 12 years of practice as a reproductive urologist, I've helped many guys with ED, and it has never been more convenient to treat than it is right now, thanks to HIMSS. It really wasn't easy before. You had to take time out of your day, come to a physical office, and see a specialist like me in person. Now, through HIMSS.com, you can get world-class sexual health care and a full range of treatment options for ED through a 100% online process. It starts with a free assessment from a medical provider licensed in your state who can determine if ED treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is shipped to you for free. So don't wait. Join the hundreds of thousands of guys who've gotten help for their ED through HIMSS.
To start your free online visit and find ED treatment at up to 95% off brand name prices, go to hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit.
Academy Award nominee Chaz Palminteri brings his original one-man show, A Bronx Tale, to Ovation Hall and Ocean Casino Resort Friday, April 11th. Experience this critically acclaimed one-man show that will take you back to the Bronx in the 1960s. A Bronx Tale, written and performed by Chaz Palminteri. Friday, April 11th at Ovation Hall in Ocean Casino Resort. Tickets go on sale Friday, October 18th at 10 a.m. Visit oceanac.com. That's oceanac.com.
Now, more Game Night with Josh Hennick on 97.3 ESPN and on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Coming up today on 97.3 ESPN, we have Mets and Dodgers tonight on 97.3 ESPN. We also have coming up tonight, after that will be the Flyers taking on Edmonton. So you got a doubleheader tonight on your radio. I'm sorry, it's Yankees-Cleveland tonight. Yankees-Cleveland tonight on 97.3 ESPN, followed by Flyers and Edmonton. You can hear both games as well on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. I want to get this audio from Vic Fangio real quick. And I'll get the time from Margate before we get out of here. But Vic Fangio was asked about Nick Sirianni claiming that he made a defensive play call. And I thought Fangio's answer was absolutely hilarious.
It wasn't a defensive call. It was just a situation thing to where he just said, hey, be alert for this. It wasn't, he didn't call it defense.
So what was the situation then that he...
It was just when they had the ball near midfield, it was 3rd and long. He said, hey, be alert that they check it down or something. They're trying to get him field goal range.
Fangio, the look on his face, like you guys wish you could see, he was so perplexed by the question. Like, The man walked into the press conference thinking he was going to talk about something that was not that. And he was like, he didn't call a play. It just goes to show you that Sirianni is probably more bark than he is bite. Tom from Margate chimes in and says the Phillies press conference was very disappointing. The turning point 2024 was the lack of aggression at the trade deadline. You don't buy at Kmart if you want to win a championship. That's from Tom in Margate. He's 100% right. The Phillies did not approach the deadline properly. But what I appreciate with Daryl Morey, he said, hey, I made a mistake at the deadline. Dave Dombrowski said, I didn't make a mistake. Austin Hayes got injured. I'm Josh Hennig. Have a great day, everybody.
This is South Jersey's official home for Philadelphia Eagles football. The Eagles continue the 2024 season this Sunday in New Jersey against their NFC East rival Giants.
He's going to go! Touchdown! Saquon Barkley!
Listen to all the action with Merrill Reese and Mike Quick with pregame coverage starting at noon and kickoff at 1 p.m. This is the play-by-play home of the Philadelphia Eagles, 97.3 ESPN, South Jersey's Eagles station.
Go to get your game on at the Gallery Bar Booking Games at Ocean Casino Resort. Cheers your favorite drinks while cheering on your favorite team. Get in on the parlay while in the middle of a party. Go for the sports scene and go for the endless screens. Go to the Gallery. Go to the Fanatic Sportsbook. Go for the win at Ocean Casino Resort. For more information, visit theoceanac.com. Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.